We are now approaching a perfect storm. And let me just very briefly, just in terms of giving you a kind of an upbeat assessment, describe the perfect storm to you. 40 years ago, just 40 years ago, when Common Cause was founded, in terms of who got what in American society, not an irrelevant question, the top 1% of Americans by income was taking home around 9% of total national income. Now, since then, income and wealth have centralized and concentrated more and more until 2007, before the Great Recession. The top 1% took home 23.5% of total national income. We have not seen this degree of concentration of income and wealth in this country since 1928. And the time before that we have seen that kind of income concentration was 1888. And now the interesting things about those years, 1888 and 1928 and 2007, is that those years were followed by economic downturns and a great deal of social strife. Which gets me to the second part of the perfect storm. 40 years ago, the issue of money in American politics was a serious issue. John Gardner wrote a lot about it. He wrote about money and secrecy and politics. And we've never seen in American history as much money flowing to our nation's capital. This election that is coming up is an election in which, for the first time that I remember, there are hundreds of millions of dollars flowing to candidates, and we have no way of knowing who is providing this money at all. Complete secret. I mean, absolute secrecy. And some of the people who are getting the money, and I don't mean to be partisan when I say this. This is a nonpartisan comment because Common Cause is nonpartisan, and I am nonpartisan. But some of the people who are getting the money are idiots. The third is that confidence in our government has plummeted to an all-time low. Survey after survey showed that 40 years ago, something in the order of 66 to 67% of Americans, when asked, do you think that the government does the right thing most of the time, said yes. Now 66 to 69%, depending on the poll, say no. Now, is there a relationship between number one, number two, and number three? Of course there is. Because when you have that much money that is inevitably influencing, if not bribing, if not corrupting politics, people back home say to themselves, government does not work. And that perfect storm is particularly paradoxical and ironic right now because the problems that average working Americans are facing are greater than ever before, certainly ever before in most of our lifetimes, certainly since the 1930s. Problems with their homes and their jobs, problems with their environment, problems with their kids, problems trying to support themselves and send their kids to college and provide enough for themselves in their retirements. They see Wall Street bailed out, but they themselves feel that they got nothing. The Tea Party movement, by the way, comes directly out of this kind of cynicism and anger, and it came directly out of the bailout of Wall Street. One thing that I would love us to be able to do, makes it sound a little far-fetched, but I'm going to say it publicly anyway, would be to reach out to some of these Tea Partiers and say, if you are true to your principles, you will support us because money and big money and corporate money and money from the rich polluting our politics is a source of why government does not work. And you should be with us on this. Out of this kind of perfect storm, and here's the upbeat message. This is really a positive message. Are you ready for the positive message? Out of this kind of perfect storm actually comes either a public reaction of the sort that I just suggested, where public is so angry and so revolted at what has happened that the public decides we have had enough, or we lose our democracy altogether. The two greatest world powers are either authoritarian capitalism of China or a plutocratic capitalism of America, and democratic capitalism is a figment of someone's historical imagination. I have tremendous faith that out of this perfect storm will actually come the former, a renewed commitment to clean up politics and save our democracy.